It's the game of the week. First game of the week of the 1971 season. We are at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore as the Baltimore Orioles take on the Detroit Tigers. Baltimore has had the most successful regular season record in the last 5 years. They have finished in first place 4 times in the last 5 years. The exception being 1968. Let's take a look and see. It's going to be Mickey Lolich against Jim Palmer. Baltimore is 2-0 right now, and Detroit is 1-1. Mickey Lolich starts for Detroit. He made one start this year. He's 1-0 with an ERA of 2.0. He had a very good start on opening day against the Cleveland Indians. And he'll be opposed by Jim Palmer for Baltimore. He's making his first start of the year. It's 66 degrees here in Baltimore. Wind speed is 4 miles per hour. Baltimore's starting lineup will be leading off the shortstop, Ed Brinkman. Batting second, the center fielder, Mickey Stanley. Batting third, the first baseman, Norm Cash. Batting fourth, the right fielder, Al Kaline. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Jim Northrup. Batting sixth, the catcher, Bill Freehan. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Dick McAuliffe. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Dalton Jones. He is in for the injured Aurelio Rodriguez. And batting ninth, the pitcher, Mickey Lolich. On defense, Baltimore has Boo Powell at first, Davey Johnson at second, Mark Melanger at short, Brooks Robinson at third, Merv Rettenman at left, Paul Blair in center, Frank Robinson at right, Andy Etchebarren catching, and on the mound is Jim Palmer.
Play ball!
Jim Palmer had a good rookie season in 1965. And then a nice follow-up in 1966. Then he had arm and back trouble in 1967. He missed the whole 1968 season. That might be a reason why Baltimore finished under 500 that year. But then he rebounded, going 15-4 in 1969, and last year he was 21-11 with a 3.54 ERA. He is a fastball pitcher. In the 2 games that Baltimore has played so far, Earl Weaver has not made a single substitution yet. Eddie Brinkman stands in. He came to Detroit in the big trade that was announced during the American League Championship Series last year, right after Billy Martin took over as manager, where the Tigers traded Elliot Maddox, Denny McLain, Norm McCray, and Don Wirt to Washington for Ed Brinkman, Joe Coleman, Jim Hannon, and Aurelio Rodriguez. Ed Brinkman was an apt pupil of Ted Williams with his hitting. He went from being a good field, no-hit shortstop to swinging a pretty good bat. Joe Coleman is still on the disabled list. He was injured during spring training when a line drive hit him in the side of the head and fractured his skull. All right, Palmer looks in, and here is the first pitch. That's high, ball one. High and inside, ball two. It's blooper in the right center. Frank Robinson's up with it. He's got it. And Brinkman is on first with a single. Here is Mickey Stanley. He's 0 for 7 so far this year. He's looking for his first hit. It's a slow roller to short. Belanger to Johnson. Throw to first is not in time. 1 out. Here is Norm Cash. He has appeared in 1 game so far this year, and he is 0 for 3 on the season. Also looking for his first hit. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 on the curveball. Checks his swing. City held up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pops it up foul. Etchebarren's after it, but it's out of play. Strike 2. The 1-2 pitch. Stanley's going for second. He is safe with a stolen base. And Cash struck out. First strikeout for Palmer. Runner on second, 2 out. Here is Al Kaline. He is hitting .250. Low home runs, no runs batted in. 2 for 8 so far this season. Balls it back. Into the crowd. Strike 1. It's a liner into left field. Base hit. Stanley rounds third. He's going for the plate. Rettenman throws into the cutoff man. Kaline with a single. Detroit takes an early 1-0 lead. Here is Jim Northrup hitting .250, 1 home run, 1 run batted in. He hit that home run on the Tigers' opening day against Cleveland. Called. Strike 1. Strike 2 called. It's grounder in left field, base hit. Rettenman's up with it. Kaline's heading for third, and Rettenman throws into the cutoff man. We have runners at the corners, 2 outs. And here's Bill Freehan. He's hitting .571. No home runs, 1 run batted in. 4 for 7. He had 4 hits on opening day against the Indians. That's high, ball 1. Too low, ball 2. There goes Northrup. Which is a strike. Etchebarren throwing second. Johnson with the tag. He's safe. 2 runners in scoring position. Bill Freehan's up with a 2-1 count. This fly ball in center field. Paul Blair going back, and he's got it. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, 2 left. After 1/2 inning, it is Detroit 1, Baltimore coming to bat. Starting lineup will be leading off the left fielder, Merv Rettenman. Batting second to shortstop, Mark Belanger. Batting third to first baseman, Boog Powell. Batting fourth to right fielder, Frank Robinson. Batting fifth to center fielder, Paul Blair. Batting sixth to third baseman, Brooks Robinson. Batting seventh to second baseman, Dave Johnson. Batting eighth to catcher, Andy Etchebarren. And batting ninth to pitcher, Jim Powell. Jim Palmer. The defense, Detroit has Norm Cash at first, Dick McAuliffe at second, Ed Brinkman at short, Dalton Jones at third, Jim Northrup in left, Mickey Stanley in center, Al Kaline in right, Bill Freehand catching, and Mickey Lolich on the mound. Mickey Lolich pitched a complete game on opening day, gave up 2 runs. He struck out 11 that day. So he is 1-0 on the year. Fastball pitcher. Here's Merv Rettenman hitting .250, no home runs, no runs batted in. 1 for 4. The 3-2 pitch. Grounder up the middle. Brinkman to his left. Throw to first. Oh, it pulled Cash off the bag. Rettenman safe on first. They're calling that an error on Ed Brinkman. Here is Mark Belanger hitting .429. No home runs, no runs batted in. He is 3 for 7 in this very young season. It's a curveball. Too high, ball 1.
Ball.
Fouls it back. Out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pops it up. Foul ground. Jones is after it, but it makes the seats. Strike 2. Belanger hits a base hit into center field. Mickey Stanley's up with it. Rettenman rounds second. He'll take third. Brinkman dove for that one, but couldn't come up with it. Runners at the corners, no one out, and here is Boog Powell. Boog's hitting .600, 1 home run, 4 runs batted in. He is 3 for 5. He hit a home run in last night's game against Detroit. Boog Powell was the MVP in 1969, and he was the MVP of the American League Championship Series in 1969 also. And then the Orioles went on to lose the World Series to the Dodgers. We're going to miss strike 1. The 0-1 pitch. Ball 1. Too high, ball 2. Blooper in right field. That's a base hit. Rettenman scores. Belanger rounds second. But he's going to hold. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. Here is Frank Robinson. He is 0 for 6 outs. Frank Robinson is reportedly on the trading block. The Orioles know he wants to establish some credentials to possibly become a manager. And the Orioles are not going to need a manager in the foreseeable future with Earl Weaver. Robinson has a reputation for not talking to opposing players, but he did talk with Billy Martin a bit during spring training. Or no, I think it was last night that this happened. Robinson said hello. They were teammates on the Reds in 1961. And Martin told Robinson, you know, if we had you on our team, we would sew up the pen. Robinson said they're looking to move me, you know, make the call. Get me over there. Glad to play for you. But love to hit at Tiger Stadium. Here's the fastball. Cut the corner. Strike 1. Pops it up. Third base side. Jones is after it, but it makes the seats. Strike 2. That's a ball. Ball 1. Strike 3 called. First strikeout of the day for Lolich. Here is Paul Blair. He's hitting .500 so far. No home runs, 1 run batted in. He is 4 for 8 with a double. He scored 2 runs. Brooks Robinson's on deck. He caught the corner. Strike 1. Strike 2 called. Pops it up. Freehand throws his mask away. He's under it. And he's got it. 2 outs. Bottom of the first in Cleveland. The Indians are leading the Red Sox 4-0. It's base hit into center field. Belanger rounds third. He's heading for home. Powell stays in second. Orioles take a 2-1 lead. Here is Dave Johnson. He's hitting 5. No home runs, 3 runs batted in. He is 4 for 8 with a double. Fly ball in the right field. K-line coming in, and he's got it. 3 outs. Orioles get 2 runs, 3 hits. There's 1 error. They left 2 on. After 1 inning, it is the Orioles 2, the Tigers 1. For Detroit in the second, it will be Dick McAuliffe, Dalton Jones, and Mickey Lolich. Dick McAuliffe is 0 for 7 on the season so far. The 0-2 pitch. That caught the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 2 for Jim Palmer. Here is Dalton Jones. He's hitting .500. He's 2 for 4. He came in on opening day to replace the injured Aurelio Rodriguez. Tigers estimate that Rodriguez will be out for at least another week. 1-1 pitch. It's a fly ball in the right field. Frank Robinson's under it, and he's got it. 2 outs. Here's Mickey Lolich. He's 0 for 4 hitting this year. 3-2 pitch. Pops it up. On the infield, Belanger takes charge. And he's got it. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. Go to the bottom of the second. It's Baltimore 2, Detroit 1. Second inning for Baltimore will be Andy Etchebarren, Jim Palmer, and Merv Rettenmund. Andy Etchebarren is, let's see, it looks like he's making his first start of the year. This is his first appearance of the year. Looks like he is in instead of the left-handed hitting Elrod Hendricks. He is in facing the lefty. Lolich. Here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a grounder to third. Jones is up with it. Throw to first. 1 out. And Etchebarren pulls up lame at first. Trainer's out, and they are walking him back to the clubhouse. Looks like he may be out today. Here is Jim Palmer making his first appearance at the plate this year. Strike 3 call. Palmer is one of those pitchers who loves to brag about his hitting, but he got crossed up there. Here is Merv Rettenmund, who is 0 for 1. He was safe on an error at first. 1-1 pitch. It's a grounder to first. Cash is up with it. He'll take it himself. Nothing. 3 up, 3 down. Nothing across. We go to the top of the third. Baltimore 3, Detroit nothing. Or Detroit 1. Baltimore 2, Detroit 1. Oh. Placing Andy Etchebarren as the catcher will be Clay Dalrymple. Dalrymple played most of his career in Philadelphia. Then he moved down to Baltimore in 1969. My APC universe, he is most famous for, I believe it was 1961. And the Braves and the Cardinals. No, this would have been 1963, I think. It was Stan Musial's last season. Braves and the Cardinals were going right down to the wire for the pennant. Cardinals were the sentimental favorites to see Stan Musial get into one more World Series. He hadn't been in a World Series since 1946. And in either the last game of the year or the second last game of the year, Dalrymple got a critical hit against the Cardinals that won the game for the Phillies, and the Braves ultimately won the pennant. So Clay Dalrymple probably is still getting free drinks at bars in Milwaukee. Here is Ed Brinkman leading off in the third. It will be Brinkman, Stanley, and Cash. Brinkman led off the game with a single in the first inning. 3-0 pitch. Too low, ball four. First walk of the game by Palmer. Here is Mickey Stanley, who's 0 for 1. Grounded into a force play in the first inning. It's a grounder to first. Powell. Only plays at first. He'll take it himself. 1 out. Brinkman moves to second. The Orioles have the best defense up the middle with Belanger, Johnson, and Blair. Brooks Robinson is second to practically probably no one at third base. And Boog Powell, for being a big guy, is no slouch in the field. Here is Norm Cash, who is 0 for 1. He struck out in the first as Mickey Stanley stole second. Low, ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 1. That was at the knee, strike 2. Fly ball in the right field. Robinson is there. He's got it. Brinkman will hold at second. Robinson's range in the outfield and his arm aren't what they used to be, but the man is still a money ball player. He's 36 years old. He has 482 career home runs. He needs 18 home runs to get to 500. And it wouldn't be a ridiculous prediction to predict that he will get that this season. Here's Al Kaline, 1 for 1. He singled in the first, driving in Mickey Stanley. Fastball low, ball 1. Al Kaline, he's got some career credentials himself. He was the MVP back in 1963 when the Tigers won the World Series. Came up as a bonus baby in 1953. Been a regular with the Tigers since 1954 when he was 19 years old. Never played a game in the minors. Had 2 seasons where he had some injuries where he played less than 100 games, 65 and 68. He has 390 home runs, 10 more to get to 400. And he is 349 hits away from 3,000 hits. Has a 302 lifetime batting average. Talk about another guy who is a money ball player. Swing and a miss, strike one. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Foul ball.
Fouls it back. Inside, ball 3. Full count. 2 outs. It's a deep fly ball. Center field. Blair back. That's off the wall. Brinkman scores. Kaline is at second with a stand-up double. 37-year-old Al Kaline, money ball player. Detroit ties the game at 2. Here is Jim Northrup. 1 for 1. He singled in the first. Tigers, past 4 seasons before this one, they were managed by Mayo Smith. They had 3 good years in a row, and then last year they dropped down to 5th place. And with Mayo Smith, you can't really say he was fired or that he resigned as manager. His contract was up and it was not renewed. Tigers brought in Billy Martin to manage. They saw what he did in 1969 in Minnesota, his first year as a manager. He led them to first place. And the Tigers want everybody to be on notice, especially in Baltimore, that they feel that Baltimore is not going to run away with the pennant or the AL East title this year like they did in 1969 and last year. Northrup hits a grounder up the middle. Johnson to his right. Throw to first. Bang, bang play. He's out. But the Tigers get 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. They left 1 on base. After 2.5 innings, it is Detroit 2, Baltimore 2. For Baltimore in the third, it will be Belanger, Powell, and Robinson. Belanger is 1 for 1. He singled in the first. He is 4 for 8 starting off the season. Scored 4 runs. 1-1 pitch. He hits a weak fly ball in the center field. Stanley races in. He dives. He's got it. A catch by Mickey Stanley. Watch that one again. Stanley racing in. He lays out for that one. He's got it. Here's Boog Powell. He's 1 for 1. He's single to right, driving in Merv Rettenman first. Hitting .667 on the season. 1 home run, 5 runs batted in. He's 4 for 6. Ooh, he's a quiet guy. Kurt Gowdy calls him the gentle giant. That he is a huge guy, and he is one of the most mild-mannered people on the baseball scene right now. And spoiler alert, Boog Powell is a future member of the Cleveland Indians. Just like the on-deck hitter, Frank Robinson. Boog Powell, I remember with the Indians, they played in their all-red uniforms. He was a very popular figure. Oh, 1 pitch. It's fly ball center field. Stanley going back. He's on the track, and he's got it. Two away. And here's Frank Robinson. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the first. He is 0 for 7 on the season. Still looking for his first hit. 3-2 pitch. Inside, ball 4. Here's Paul Blair, who's 0 for 1. Paul Blair, he's been a regular on the Baltimore Orioles scene since 1965. He's 27 years old. He came up as a young kid. Right 2. I caught the corner. Lolich, he is watching for Frank Robinson. Third inning in Cleveland. Indians lead the Red Sox 5-0. It's fly ball in right field. K-line is there, and he's got it. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We played 3 in Baltimore, and we are tied at 2. Take a look around the majors. Top of the 4th in Cleveland. Indians lead 5-0. Ken Harrelson hit a 3-run homer. First inning. 2 days ago at the Indians home opener, the Hawk hit a grand slam. Right now, that is Bill Lee against Steve Hargan. Hargan lost in the Indians opener. Well, the Indians opened the season in Detroit. And Mickey Lolich beat the Indians, and Hargan took the loss out there. Bottom of the 4th in Washington. Senators lead the Yankees 1-0. That is Mel Stottlemyre against Jim Schellenbach. Top of the 4th in Philadelphia. We'll be in Philadelphia next week. Our first look at the brand spanking new Veterans Stadium. Phillies lead the Expos 1-0. Jim Bunning hit a home run. That is Bill Stoneman against Jim Bunning. Bottom of the 4th at Shea Stadium. It is the Mets 4, the Reds 1. Art Shamsky hit a home run for the Mets. That is Gary Nolan against Jerry Koosman. Top of the 2nd in St. Louis. No score. Between the Giants and the Cardinals. That is Frank Rehberger against Jerry Rice. Top of the 1st at Comiskey Park. Minnesota leads the White Sox 3-0. Tony Olivo hit a home run. That is Jim Perry against Tommy John. Bottom of the 1st in the Astrodome. Cubs and Astros, no score. That is Fergie Jenkins, last season's Cy Young Award winner in the National League, against Larry Dierker. And the top of the 1st in Milwaukee. Angels and the Brewers, no score. That is Clyde Wright against Skip Lockwood. The 4th inning for Detroit, it will be Bill Freehan, Dick McAuliffe, and Dalton Jones. Freehan is 0 for 1. He flied out to center field last time up. The 0-1 pitch. Shallow fly ball in the right field. Frank Robinson coming in, and he's got it. 1 out. Dick McAuliffe, he's 0 for 1. He struck out his last time. He's still looking for his first hit this season. Here's the 3-0 pitch. Ball four.
Take your base.
Second walk given up by Jim Palmer. Here's Dalton Jones. He is 0 for 1. He flied out to right field. Tiger season opener. He came in for the injured Aurelio Rodriguez and got 2 hits that day, coming off the bench. Strike one call. The 0-1 pitch. There goes McAuliffe. Throw to second. He's safe. Safe by a mile. They had no chance to get it. The 0-2 pitch. It's a grounder to first. Powell's up with it. He'll take it himself. 2 outs. McAuliffe moves to third. Here's Mickey Lolich, who's 0 for 1. He popped out to Mark Belanger last time up. Outside, ball 1. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Grounder down the first base line, but that's foul. 1-2 pitch. Another grounder down the first base line. Foul. Too high, ball 2. Hit the knees, call strike 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 2. 4th inning for Baltimore will be Brooks Robinson, Dave Johnson, and Clay Dalrymple. Brooks is 1 for 1. He singled in the first, scoring Mark Belanger with Baltimore's second run. The 0-2 pitch. That caught the corner. Strike 3 call. Here's Davey Johnson, who's 0 for 1. He flied out last time up. 1-2 pitch. It's a slow roller to second. McAuliffe. Throw to first. It's over Cash's head. Freehand was backing it up, so Johnson had to stay at second. Second error of the day for Detroit. And here is Clay Dalrymple. He is making his first plate appearance this season. Dalrymple appeared in 26 games last year, hit 209. He is a lifetime 241 hit. One run first, 1 out. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Caught the corner, strike 2. The 0-2 pitch. Too low, ball 1. Just outside, ball 2. Fouls it back. Count remains 2-2. Why, ball 3. Lolich is just missing.
Take your base.
Dalrymple checked the swing. They appealed to third. And he upset no swings. That is the second walk of the day for Jim Palmer. He is 0 for 1. He struck out last time. Playing in the bunt. Palmer is a good bunter. Down the first base line. Cash up with it. He tags Palmer for the out. Johnson's on third. Dalrymple on second. Palmer with a successful sacrifice. Here is Merv Rettenman. He is 0 for 2. He Safe on an error and grounded to cash. Caught the inside part of the plate. Strike one. Inside, ball one. Pops it up. Free hands after it. He dives, but he can't make the play. It was in the stands. He dove into the crowd and couldn't come up with it. Here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a liner in the right field base hit. Johnson scores. Dalrymple's on his way to the plate. Kaline throws to the cutoff man. Retman with a single. Driving in 2 runs. It is Baltimore 4, Detroit. Cash was not able to get a good jump on that ball. Here's Mark Belanger, who's 1 for 2. He singled in the first, flied out in the third. Wing and a miss, strike one. Inside, ball one. It's base hit in center field. This should be extra bases. Retman scores. Andrew dives in a second, safe with a double. It's 5-2. That's Belanger's first double of the year. 2 outs, runner on second. Here is Boog Powell, who is 1 for 2. He singled in the first, driving in Retman. He flied out to the wall in center field. Too high, ball one. Blowing inside. It gets away from Freehand. Belanger moves to third. They're calling that a wild pitch. Fastball. He hits a line drive to first. Cash leaps and he's got it. Cash looked bad on one play in the field in the fourth, and then he makes a great play to end the inning and possibly save another run. But Baltimore gets 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error. They left 1 on base. We have played 4 innings in Baltimore. It is the Orioles 3 and the Tigers 2. For the Tigers in the 5th, it will be Brinkman, Stanley, and Cash. Brinkman is 1 for 1. He singled to start the game, and he won. 2-0 pitch. Base hit in the right field. Frank Robinson's up with it. Brinkman looks at second. He's going for second. The throw for Robinson. He's safe. Brinkman with the double. That was some heads-up base running by Eddie Brinkman. They're willing to test Frank Robinson's arm now. Here's Mickey Stanley, who is 0 for 2. He grounded into a force play in the first. And grounded the first in the third. Fastball. He looks at strike one. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball. That caught the corner. Strike 2. Off the corner. He checked his swing. Ump says no swing. Ball 1. 1 ball. 2 strikes. It's a grounder through the right side of the infield. Base hit. Robinson comes up with it. Brinkman takes third. No outs. Tigers have runners at the corners. Here it is. Norm Cash. He is 0 for 2. He struck out. And Stanley stole second. Flied out. 0 for 5 on the season. He's looking for his first hit. Tiger rooters are probably saying this would be a good time for his first hit. Swing and a miss, strike two. It's a high pop up. Dalrymple throws the mask away. He's under it. Off his glove. They're giving him an error. And the count remains 0-2. Bounce right off his glove. Watching the old games of the week and listening to Joe Garagiola, and he makes a very convincing case that those high pop-ups, especially in a high sky like today, murder on the catcher to try to make the play. The 0-2 pitch. Strike three called. He looked at third strike and he knew it. He's strolling back to the dugout. One out. Here is Al Kaline, who is 2 for 2. He singled in the first, scoring Mickey Stanley, and he doubled in the third, and that scored Eddie Brinkman. He has driven in both Detroit runs tonight. Swing and a miss, strike one. Jim Northrup is on deck. Ball one. Low, ball two. 2-1 pitch. It's a fly ball in the left field. Retton near the foul pole. He has it. He should score Brinkman. Brinkman tags up. And he scores with the third run for the Tigers. And sacrifice fly. Al Kaline is his third RBI of the day. Here is Jim Northrup, who is 1 for 2. Singled in the first, and he grounded out in the third. Jim Northrup, we'll see how he is with Baltimore. But boy, playing against the Indians, he is an Indians killer. When I'm playing as the Indians, I hate seeing him come on. The 0-1 pitch just outside, ball one. He got the bat on it. Slow roller to third. Brooks Robinson's up with it. Throw to first for the out. But Detroit gets 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. They left 1 on base. It's an official game here at Baltimore. It is the Orioles 5, the Tigers 3. Tigers' third run that scored in 5th. Being called an unearned run. Yeah, they're calling that an unearned run. In the bottom of the 5th for Baltimore, it is Frank Robbins, Paul Blair, and Brooks Robbins. Frank Robinson is 0 for 1. He struck out and he walked. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 4 for Mickey Lolich. Here is Paul Blair, who's 0 for 2. Popped to the catcher in the first and flied out to the right field in the third. 2-2 pitch. Hits a grounder to second. McAuliffe up with it. Throw to first. That's 2 outs. And here is Brooks Robbins. He's 1 for 2. He singled in the first. Driving in Belanger with Baltimore's second run. Struck out in the 4th. Strike 3 call. 3 up and 3 down. Nothing across. 2 strikeouts. That inning for Mickey Lolich. We've played 5 in Baltimore. It is the Orioles 5, Detroit 3. The American League East, Baltimore remains undefeated going into today's game, along with the Yankees. They are both 2-0. In the National League, the Mets are undefeated. They are 2-0. And in the National League West, the Dodgers are undefeated 4-0. And the Giants are undefeated 3-0. Now, the other side of the coin, in the AL West, Milwaukee is 0-2. The AL East, Boston is 0-2. In the NL East, Montreal is 0-2. In the NL West, San Diego is 0-4. So here we are in the 6th inning. It'll be Bill Freehan, Dick McAuliffe, and Dalton Jones for Detroit. Bill Freehan is 0-2. He had a deep fly ball in the first, center, and a shallow fly ball to center in the fourth. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Down and in, ball 4. Third walk of the game given up by Palmer. Baltimore wasn't as active in the trade market as some teams during the offseason. They're about the strongest team in the majors, but they made 2 pretty good deals. And they got 3 great starters: Mike Cuellar, Dave McNally, and Jim Palmer. Cuellar won the Cy Young Award in 1969. So what do you do when you got 3 of the best pitchers in your starting rotation? You trade Fred Bean, Enzo Hernandez, Tom Phoebus, and Al Severinsen to San Diego for Pat Dobson. Dobson joins their 4-man rotation. Then 2 weeks later, they traded Roger Freed to the Phillies. Roger Freed's been a highly touted minor leaguer for the past 3 years. And they get Grant Jackson, a good reliever. Shore up their bullpen. They had traded Mo Drabowski to St. Louis. They essentially replaced him with Grant Jackson. Here is Dick McAuliffe. He's 0 for 1. He struck out in the second and walked in the fourth. First pitch, high and inside, ball 1. It's a grounder to short. Belanger. His only play is the first. Throw to Powell. McAuliffe's out. Freehan takes second. Runner on second, 1 out, and here is Dalton Jones. Dalton Jones, who came over from Boston, where he was a regular. Then he moved over to Detroit, where he has been a utility man. Came to Detroit last season from Boston. He's already showing his worth this year for Billy Martin. Billy Martin is the kind of manager who likes to utilize his entire lineup. In an extra inning spring training game, he used 26 players. Obviously, before the rosters were cut down to 25. But he wants everybody to be ready and He doesn't want anybody sitting and getting rusty on his bench. The 0-1 pitch, fastball, strike two call. Low and inside, that gets away from Dalrymple. Freehan takes third. They're calling that a wild pitch. Freehan on third, 1 out. 1-2 pitch to Dalton Jones. Breaking ball, ball 2. Palmer's getting Jones to try to chase that one, but Jones didn't bite. Down low, ball 3. Full count. It's base hit into left field. Freehan will score. That's Jones' first RBI of the year, and Detroit cuts Baltimore's lead to 5-4. Here is Mickey Lolich. Corners will play in. He is 0 for 2 today. He popped out and struck him. Lolich is one of the best bunters in the game. Down and away, ball 1. Ball 2. Swing and a miss, strike 1. He swung at an outside pitch for that one. 2-2. Balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 5 for Jim Palmer. 2 outs, runner on first. Baltimore's ahead by 1. And here's Ed Brinkman, who is 2 for 2. Singled in the first, walked in the third, and doubled in the 5th. He was one of Ted Williams' prize pupils in Washington, and Williams was not shy in saying that he was unhappy that Brinkman and Rodriguez were traded. Ball 1, that was low. Fouls it back, strike 1. Third inning in Chicago, Minnesota leads the White Sox 6-0. 7th inning in Washington, it's still 1-0 Senators. New York is trying to stay undefeated. Too high, ball 2. Grounder right back to the mound. Palmer has all day. He fires the first. And Brinkman is on. 1 run, 1 hit, no error. And 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It is Baltimore 5, Detroit 4. The bottom of the 6th, it will be Dave Johnson, Clay Dalrymple, and Jim Palmer. Dave Johnson is 0 for 2 today. Flied out in the first, and he was safe on an error in the 4th. Pitch. It's a fly ball into left field. Northrup is there, and he's got it. 1 out. Here it's Clay Dalrymple. His only plate appearance in the game, he walked. He replaced the injured Andy Echeverry. That was the first substitution Baltimore made this season. 3-2 pitch. Too high, ball 4. That's his second walk of the game. Pitch running for Dalrymple will be Tom Chopay. And here is Jim Palmer, who is 0 for 1. Struck out, and he had a sacrifice bunt in the 4th. He is squaring the sacrifice bunt right now. Palmer is one of the best bunters in the game. Not quite as good as Mickey Lolich. Lays one down. Third base line. Jones has to come all the way in. His only play is the first. Ball of making the out, and Chopin moves to third or to second. Merv Rettenman, he is 1 for 3. He was safe on an error in the first. Grounded out in the second, and he singled in the fourth. That scored Davy Johnson with Baltimore's 4th run of the game. Rettenman is a guy that they're a little sad to say in Baltimore, but he is starting to make Frank Robinson look more expendable. They have the prospect of looking at an outfield. Rettenman, Buford, and Blair. Buford was the MVP in the American League last season. He hasn't got the start today. He appeared in all but one game for Baltimore last year. Hit .310. He had 33 home runs and 83 runs batted in. He scored 148 runs. He was Baltimore's leadoff hitter. He walked 132 times. Baltimore might be looking to the future to trade Frank Robinson. Strike one. If and when that day comes, I mean, Orioles fans and Frank Robinson, they'll be able to look back on an excellent career that Robinson had at Baltimore. He had a great run in Cincinnati, and he had a great run in Baltimore. He was the MVP in 1965 and 1966. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1956, and he was the All-Star Game MVP in 1968. Inside, ball 3. Anybody with any knowledge of the Cleveland Indians in the 1970s can probably see why I'm waxing lyrical about Frank Robinson. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Walk number 4 for Lolich. And here is Mark Belanger, who's 2 for 3. He singled in the first, flied out in the third, and he doubled in the fourth, scoring Merv Rettenman with Baltimore's 5th run of the game. I remember Mark Belanger in the 1969 World Series. Orioles lost that series 6 games to Los Angeles. But Belanger just gave like a veritable clinic at playing shortstop. And he had an excellent year in 69. He had 295 there. The average dropped last year to 225. But he is still top of the line shortstop. He's gotten off to a pretty quick start in the first week of this season. Ball 1. It's based in a left field. Chopin around third. He'll score. Northrup throws it into the cutoff. That's Belanger's 3rd hit today. And Baltimore increases their lead to 6-4. Here's Boog Powell, who is 1 for 3. He singled in the first, driving in Merv Retton. Light out to deep center. Stanley was right up against the wall in the third, and he hit a liner to Norm Cash last time. Rehan goes to talk to Lolich. Tell him, don't let this guy beat you. We're only down by 2. We are in this game. Don't let him hit one out. Powell pops one out on the infield. Brinkman takes charge, and he's got it. That'll end the inning. But Detroit gets 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. They've left 2. We've played 6 complete. It is Baltimore 6, Detroit 4. Coming in to catch for Baltimore is Elrod Hendricks. Don't know if Weaver is starting a platoon situation between Hendricks and Echeverren this year, but I guess we'll see. I guess we'll have to wait and see too. If Echeverren will miss any time, or if he'll be just out from today. Here is Mickey Stanley, who is 1 for 3. 7th. Grounded into a force out in the third. Grounded out in the third. Singled in the 5th. 7th for Detroit will be Stanley, Cash, and Kalen. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Gets a fly ball into left field. Retton moves to his left, and he's got it. Out. Here it's Norm Cash, who's 0 for 3. Struck out when Stanley stole 2nd and 1st. Flied out in the 3rd and struck out in the 5th. He is 0 for 6 this week. He's looking for his first hit of the season. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's a liner in right field. That's a base hit. He is on the board with a hit. Here is Al Kaline, who's 2 for 2. Single in the first, scoring Mickey Stanley. Doubled in the third, scoring Ed Brinkman. Hit a sacrifice fly in left in the 5th, scoring Ed Brinkman. He has 3 RBIs today, and Brinkman has scored twice. What Kaline was doing is hitting. The liner up the middle, base hit. Cash, round 2nd. Blair with the throw to 3rd. Robinson with the tag. He's out. Cash is out at 3rd. That is hit number 3 today for Al Kaline. Blair is not noted for having a strong arm, but he made a nice throw there. Like Martin and the Tigers rolled the dice, and they didn't win for him that time. Here is Jim Northrup, who is 1 for 3. He singled in the 1st and grounded out in the 3rd and in the 5th. Rehan is on deck. Too high, ball 1. Ball 2. Palmer, 117 pitches, 71 strikes, 46 balls. Yeah, he's probably got Earl Weaver squirming. He has thrown a lot of balls. Going deep in the counts. Just missed inside, ball 3. Ball 4. That is is his fourth walk of the game. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. And here is Bill Freehan, who's 0 for 2. Flied out in the first, flied out in the fourth, and walked in the sixth. Swinging him a strike. Palmer obviously does not have his best stuff today. Inside ball. Wolich, on the other hand, let's take a look at him. "107 pitches, 14 less than Palmer, 38 balls. Yeah, 69 strikes and 38 balls. They've both given up 4 walks, so they're both a little iffy with their control today. 1-1 pitch. Hard grounder up the middle. Belanger to his left, has it. Throws him out. Palmer gets out of that one. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It is Baltimore 6, Detroit 4. Bottom of the 7th. Let's take a look around the league. It's the top of the 7th in Cleveland. Indians lead the Red Sox 7-3. Rick Austin is now in pitching for Cleveland. Top of the 9th in Washington. Senators lead the Yankees 1-0. That is Jack Acre against Daryl Knowles. Bottom of the 6th in Philadelphia. The Expos lead the Phillies 6-3. Bobby Wine hit his first home run. That is John Strohmeyer against Darrell Brandon. Top of the 9th at Shea. Mets lead the Reds 9-1. Al McCray 3 for 4 today. That is Wilcox against Williams. Bill Wilcox, Charlie Williams, maybe? Bottom of the 5th in St. Louis. Cardinals 6. Giants 2. Joe Torre hit his first home run today. That is Ron Bryant against Jerry Rice. Bottom of the 3rd in Chicago. Twins 7. White Sox 2. That's Jim Perry against Tommy John. Bottom of the 5th at the Astrodome. Astros 2. Cubs 1. That's Jenkins against Durker. And the top of the 4th in Milwaukee, the Angels 3, the Brewers 2. It's Clyde Wright against Skip Lockwood. Now we go to the bottom of the 7th. It will be Frank Robinson, Paul Blair, and Brooks Rogers. There's some action in the Orioles bullpen. Grant Jackson, newly acquired from, what did I say he came from, Philadelphia? Yeah, Philadelphia. I always associate him with the Pirates. I apologize. Warming up. Frank Robinson is 0 for 2 today. Struck out, walked, and struck out again in the 5th. He's still looking for his first hit of the season. 2-1 pitch. It's a fly ball in the left field. Chip Northrup has it measured. It's there. 1 out. Here it's Paul Blair, who's 0 for 3 now. Popped to the catcher, fly to right, and grounded to second. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Shallow fly ball in the center field. Mickey Stanley coming in. He's got time. He makes the catch. 2 outs. And here is Brooks Robinson. He's 1 for 3. He singled in the 1st, driving in a run. Struck out in the 4th and struck out in the 5th. The 0-2 pitch. It's a sharp grounder to third. Dalton Jones is up with it. Throw to first. 3 outs. Nothing across from Baltimore. We played 7. 7 complete. Baltimore leads 6-4. New pitcher for Baltimore. It's Grant Jackson. Making, I believe this is his American League debut. Sure is. He had a couple cups of coffee with Philadelphia in 65 and 66. I joined them as a regular. 67. He was mostly a relief pitcher in 67 and 68. He was a starter in 69, and he rotated from the rotation to the bullpen last year. Last year he was 6-8 with 1 save, 5.03 ERA with the Phillies. In the 8th, it will be McAuliffe, Jones, and the pitcher's spot for the Tigers. McAuliffe is 0 for 2 today. Struck out, walked, and grounded out. The 0-2 pitch. It's a grounder to second. Johnson's up with it. Throw to first. 1 out. Here is Dalton Jones, who's 1 for 3 today. Flied out to second, grounded out in the 4th, and singled in the 6th. He drove in Bill Freehan in the 6th. So Kaline has 3 RBIs today, and Jones has 1. Oh, they're calling him back. Ike Brown will pinch hit. Ike Brown, he is 0 for 2 on the season this year. Came in as a defensive replacement last night. No, he started this year. He started at third base in place of Rodriguez. He is 0 for 2 on the season with 1 more. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Mickey Lolich. And they're calling him back in. Willie Horton. Pitch hit. Willie Horton, he is hitting 143 this season. He's 1 for 7. He has a double, and he scored a run. He started in the previous 2 games for Detroit. 1-1 pitch. It's a fly ball. Center field. Blair on his horse. To the wall. Dives. Makes a great catch. To end the inning. Nothing across for Detroit in the top of the 8th. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It is Baltimore 6, Detroit 4. Ike Brown remains in the game at third base, and coming in to pitch is Darrell Patterson. Patterson is making his first appearance this year. He's been with Detroit since 1968. He's appeared in 89 games in his career, 1 start. He appeared in 50 games last year, all in relief. It'll be Dave Johnson, Elrod Hendricks, and Grant Jackson for Baltimore in the bottom of the eighth. Johnson is 0 for 3, flied out. Safe on an error and flied out again in the sixth. The 0-2 pitch. Base hit at center field. He's rounding first. This will be extra bases. Got all the way to the wall. He's at second with stand up. Here's Elrod Hendricks making his first plate appearance in the game. Hitting .250 on the year. 1 home run, 2 runs batted in. He is 2 for 8. They're going to intentionally walk him. And Grant Jackson will come up. Corners are playing him in for the bunt. Curveball, see if he can move the one. He bunted, he fouled that one out of play. Strike. He lays that one down, but it's foul. Strike 2. Too high, ball 1. It's ground ball to second. McAuliffe. Brinkman. Cash. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. Johnson takes third. Here is Merv Rettenman, who is 1 for 3. They found an error, grounded out. Singled in the fourth. That drove in 2 runs, and he walked in the sixth. They're going to intentionally walk him. And here is Mark Belanger, who's 3 for 4. Single in the first, flied out in the third. Doubled in the fourth, scoring Rettenman. And singled in the sixth, scoring Chopay. Looking at Rettenman. The pitch. Freehan goes out to talk to him. And the pitch. There goes Rettenman. Go to second. He is safe. Pitch was called a ball. That is first stolen base of the year for Rettenman. Swinging him at strike 1. 2 outs. Belanger's 3 for 4 today, and he has 2 runners in scoring position. He can put this game away. Too high. Ball 2. Here comes Billy Martin. They're going to intentionally walk Mark Belanger. Then they are bringing in Bill Zep to pitch. Bill Zep came over from the Twins. He had a very short appearance with the Twins in 1965. Martin is the manager. Martin liked them, kept his eye on him. He had an excellent rookie season last year. 12 and 4. Dave. But then he did not pitch in the league championship series. And he had a horrible World Series. He pitched in 2 games. He pitched an inning and a third. He gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He had no record, but he had a whip of 3.0. The opponent's batting average against him was .429, and he had an ERA of 20.25. Twins were wondering if that's going to affect him, and he already was talking to them over the winter that wanted to be dealt to the Tigers. Let me check. He is a Detroit native and was considered high school superstar. Then he went to the University of Michigan where he lost his confidence. He got drafted 3 times while he was at Michigan, didn't sign for any of them. Then he graduated from Michigan with a master's in marketing. Then he decided to try to play Major League ball. And the only team that was still interested in him was the Twins. He had a pretty good showing in spring training at 69. Martin told Zepp that he would start the season with the Twins' AAA affiliate. But the front office moved Zepp to the single A affiliate, the Carolina League. That was probably the start of Billy Martin's difficulties dealing with the Minnesota Twins front office, most specifically Cal Griffith. Prior to this year, Zepp would not sign a contract extension, and he was going to retire unless he was able to play for the Tigers. After Joel Coleman's injury, he was quickly traded to the Tigers at the end of spring training. Martin said, he comes here, he wants to play. Maybe that'll help. Oh, but I hope so. And here we are. Bill Zepp. He has made one appearance this year. He's pitched 2 innings. Faced 6 batters. He has 1 goal. He pitched last night against Baltimore. Gave 2 innings. Just 1 run. Bases loaded. Here is Boog Powell. 1 for 4 with a single in the first. High and outside ball 1. Just fly ball to right field. K-line is there. And the rally is defused. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. They left the bases loaded. We've played 8 complete. It is the Orioles 6, the Tigers 4. For the Tigers in the 9th, it will be Ed Brinkman, Mickey Stanley, and Norm Cash. Brinkman is 2 for 3. With a single in the first and a double in the 5th. Fly ball to right field. Robinson's there, and he's got it. 1 out. Mickey Stanley, he's 1 for 4. He had a single in the 5th. The 0-2 pitch. His ground ball is short. Belanger's up with it. Go to first. 2 outs. Tigers are down to their last stop. Norm Cash. 1 for 4. Struck out when Stanley stole second in the first. Flied out in the third. Struck out the fifth and singled in the seventh. Lefty against lefty. 1-2 pitch. Strike three call. Cash's third strikeout today. Orioles win 6-4. 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for Baltimore. 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for Detroit. Jim Palmer gets the win. He's 1-0. Grant Jackson gets a save. That's his first of the year. Mickey Lolich gets the loss. He is 1-1. Or left 9 on base. Tigers left 8 on base. Word from the clubhouse is that Andy Etchebarren should be fit to play tomorrow. They're naming the star of the game as Grant Jackson. Got on the board first in the first inning when K-Line singled and Mickey Stanley scored. Then in the bottom of the first, Baltimore sent 7 men to the plate. Boo Powell singled. That scored 1 to tie the score. And then Brooks Robinson singled. That scored Belanger. Baltimore took the lead. Third inning, Detroit tied it. Al Kaline doubled and Ed Brinkman scored. That tied the game 2-2. Bottom of the fourth, Baltimore sent 7 men to the plate. Where Redmond singled, that scored 2. Baltimore took the lead. And Mark Belanger doubled, that scored another one. Baltimore led 5-2. In the fifth inning, Al Kaline hit a sacrifice fly. Scored a run. Baltimore was still leading 5-3. Then in the sixth, Dalton Jones singled. That scored Bill Freehan. That cut Baltimore's lead to 5-4. But in the bottom of the sixth, the Orioles scored an insurance run. Mark Belanger single, and that scored pinch runner Tom Chopay. Time of the game was 2 hours and 51 minutes. And once again, the final score, Baltimore 6, Detroit 4. Hope you enjoyed the game, and thanks for watching.